I'm debuting my segment, which I'm going to do every single Tuesday, which is Iafrate's Impact Players to Watch. You guys ready for this? I'm going to give you some players that have to and will make an impact this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this segment brought to you by our good friends at BetUS. So let's get this thing started, okay? I thought about this, and please chime in the chat. Who are some guys that you just right off the bat need to make an impact this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who will make an impact against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And we have receipts. We'll revisit this segment the next week and see how I did the previous week and trying to guess these guys. We'll start with the first player. This guy undoubtedly is going to make a significant impact this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that player is all-pro wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, okay? And I'll tell you why. Last week, career low in production. This week, facing a secondary in which he knows very well. Last regular season, he absolutely torched these guys. I think he had almost double-digit catches. I forget the exact number of catches, but he had 100-plus yards. Craig Reynolds delivering the boom. The boom.
The block heard round the block.
So, Amon-Ra St. Brown expected to have a big game, and I think he will, given Carlton Davis, not on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is on the Detroit Lions. Okay? And Jamel Dean, very good player. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets open against any corner that's basically in front of him. That is the first player. Boys,
love
your
it.
thoughts on that?
I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a wide receiver one of this team. You're going up against a very good front seven. There's no guarantee at all that you're going to be able to successfully run the ball to the normal status that the Lions think they usually can. So they're going to be for a challenge up front. I mean, Dion talked about just before, Amon-Ra is going to have the opportunity to go inside and outside. There's going to be so many opportunities for him to exploit inside the slot. If Amon-Ra does not go off this week, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but you can kind of start to hit like the question mark of like, what's going on with Amon-Ra? Is there an injury that nobody's talking about? I expect Amon-Ra to bounce back in a huge way, and he has to, because you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and company on the other side of the field. Just like the Rams, even if they're not putting up points, they're going to be moving the ball down the field, keeping the Lions offense off the field. So he's got to come through huge, especially on third downs.
Mm-hmm. What's going on, guys? It's Jeff Iafrate. I interrupted today's video to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, and that is BetUS. And they are offering the Crunch Time Sports community 150% on your guys' first 3 deposits with promo code YouTube150. Promo code YouTube150. Head to betus.com. They have a ton of lines that you can get in on now. Like this one that I really do like a lot. Aiden Hutchinson, 2-win Defensive Player of the Year. He comes in with the 6th best odds at plus 1,100. I'm going to go ahead and put $100 to win $1,100 and lock it in. There you go. And not just this, there's a ton of other lines, Detroit Lions related, and go check them out only on BetUS. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah, I think we were all waiting in the second half of this past Sunday for Amon-Ra to kind of show up. Even though we still won the game, we were waiting for that big play, Amon-Ra. So I think you'll see more of that this weekend. And like Lucas said, I think they will be driving the ball, and I think there will be a lot of points scored by both teams this weekend. So Amon-Ra is going to be a big part of us putting some points on the board, and I expect him to show up.
Now, the next player that I think will make a big impact this week is a player that I'm very excited to see. And that player is DJ Reader. DJ Reader is expected to debut this week. And it's not just because, he's the big free agency signing that is supposed to play. No, there's so much more to it. Ali McNeil last week against the Los Angeles Rams, at least in rushing the passer, didn't quite look like the Aleem McNeil we expected him to. But I think with now the insertion of DJ Reader, not only is he going to make Aleem McNeil better, he's going to make Aiden Hutchinson better because he's going to force Baker Mayfield, who likes to scramble outside the pocket, right into Aiden Hutchinson. And Marcus Davenport. Yeah, I said it. Marcus Davenport. He might get out there, he might get a sack. He might get a sack or 2. Who knows? Because DJ Reader is going to make everyone's job a lot easier, and he's going to make the secondary's job a lot easier, because if he's making the guys around him better and they're having more success rushing the passer, then those guys on the back end, their job is going to be easier. The guys like Anzalone, Jack Campbell, their job is going to be easier, and I think it's going to be very, very difficult this week to run the football. They did it. They played really well against the run last week without DJ Reader. Now they have DJ Reader, and they have a pretty nice backfield. I mean, they just drafted Bucky Irving from Oregon, who's actually a pretty good back, and they have Rashad White.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gonna be a good test, and I think it's a perfect time for DJ Reader to return. That's the second impact player to watch this week.
Yeah, DJ Reader, honestly, at the end of the day, like we heard Aleem McNeil get asked the question about the double teams and bringing DJ Reader back, what that's going to mean for the defensive line, Jeff. And that's why I love I think he might be the most impactful player going into the Bucs game because he is coming off the injury. Aiden Hutchinson was getting double teamed every single possession, it felt like. And Aleem McNeil kind of spoke about that, saying they asked him, like, what is it like the DJ Reader's coming back, taking the double teams off you? And he was like, hey, they were never on me. It was all on Aiden Hutchinson. So you bring DJ Reader back, the offensive line is going to have to make a decision. Like there's Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson. Pick your poison. And probably it's going to either be DJ Reader or Aiden Hutchinson. So Aleem and Marcus Davenport are going to be able to go out there and eat this Sunday. And I think like just the presence, Jeff, like you said, like the presence in the run game and the presence in being able him have one of the best in the league at that position. He just takes space up. And like that's going to be an absolute game changer for this D line. Like we talked about how good the D line looked last Sunday night. It's going to look even better when you add a DJ Reader in there, even if he's on limited snaps. I don't think he will be because I think if he could have played last week, it would have been limited snaps. I think this week it's like, all right, you're fully back now. Here we go. You're ready to go. DJ Reader, honestly, I know Amon-Ra. He's going to have a bounce back week, and we know the impact he makes for the Lions offensively. But I just think DJ Reader on a defense that's looking to be top 10, and you need this defense. Jeff, what was the stat? You remember early in the offseason, you brought up the stat, like you need to get to a certain amount of sacks or you have to be top 5 in sacks to win a Super Bowl or whatever that was. Yeah. Like you need DJ Reader to go hit those stats and those landmarks to go win football games and win a Super Bowl. So hey, 2 for 2, Jeff Iafrate. 2 for 2, baby.
That's what I like to hear. And I want to address that, the limited snaps thing. Let's just say hypothetically he's out there for 20, 30 snaps. Let's just say in a hypothetical world. Him even not being at 100%, like let's say he's got to shake the rust off, his presence on the field, even if you're not gonna measure DJ Reader by numbers, you're not gonna measure him by statistics. You're gonna measure him by his 300+ pound frame in what he does to opposing offensive linemen. They're going to double team him, even if he's not at his best. And you got 100% Aiden Hutchinson, 100% Aleem McNeil, and I hope 100% close to Marcus Davenport getting let loose. So it's not even about necessarily how he's going to play statistically. It's his presence that I'm excited to see. That is why I put him in here. The presence. And Levi O, another one. Because if he's out there, at DJ Reader, it doesn't matter who he's playing with. He makes everybody better. So that's why I put him in here. Let's get to the last one. This one, I'm very, very confident in. And this one, it's going to be more personal for him. Mm-hmm. And that is Carlton Davis this week. Another player to watch because of the assignment he's going to be given. He's going to be given Mike Evans. There is no debate. Mike Evans and him are going to be squaring off. Okay? And that is how it is. Carlton Davis, very familiar with Mike Evans. Played in Tampa Bay for a long time. Okay, and now you have Mike Evans going, who last week was pretty much unguardable in the red zone. He had 2 TDs. This week now, Carlton Davis, lengthy. I think he matches up with him. He's very familiar with them. Aaron Glenn knows this. He's going to make sure that Carlton Davis stays with Mike Evans. His task this week is covering a guy who is basically a basketball player at the same time. I mean, he's 6'5". He's a red zone threat. He's a big play threat. They'll probably have a safety lurking around as well. But Carlton Davis is going to have a big, big assignment this week, and he's going to have to hold up, and he's a player that I think will hold up this week. So Carlton Davis, another guy that, given big assignment, a lot they're going to ask of him with his experience. He's been in the league. And something that's been a trend with Carlton Davis, he tends to have more success against bigger wide receivers. Smaller guys give him issues. I think this is going to be a matchup to watch on Sunday. I can't wait for it. It's huge.
Yeah, and to be honest, this was my favorite of all the three. Obviously, you brought up the connection, him playing for them. obviously coming here to Detroit. But Baker Mayfield looked damn good. Shout out to Boone. He's been gassing up Baker forever. And him and Mike Evans' connection looks like they picked up right where they left off. And Mike Evans might be one of the most underrated wide receivers ever. He's been getting 1,000 yards forever. But games like this is why you brought Carlton Davis here. You went out and you acquired your cornerback one for him to have back-to-back big matchups like this, facing great wide receivers, and for him to show up. So this is going to be a true telling point. Obviously, it's still very early on in the season, but games like this is why you brought Carlton Davis here, and he's going to show up. Obviously, you're not going to completely shut down Mike Evans, but limiting him whatever way possible and disrupting the connection between him and Baker Mayfield will ultimately help you out and win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Love the list. Yeah, I would say all three guys. I think it's hard to be able to pick out a handful of guys like the biggest impact in the game. Like, I love all three of these guys, and two of them on defense, and I think the defense needs to step up. And realistically, Jeff, like on offensively, if you had to pick a guy that it's like, and you need him to step up this next week, I would say Amon-Ra St. Brown out of anyone. Like, Sam Laporta still had 40 yards, 4 or 5 catches for 40-something yards. Jahmyr Gibbs still had 80 yards. David Montgomery still went out there. JMO went out there. Like, Amon-Ra was kind of that lone man out there out of all the stars that was like maybe Jared Goff, but I think Amon-Ra, it's like he knows what he is and what he can do. So I love the list. Hey, what an absolute
great segment, Hefe.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. And I'll tell you this right now. Two guys that I did contemplate putting on this list, and I'll explain my reasoning for not putting them on this list. One, Aleem McNeil. I was thinking of putting him over DJ Reader, but because of DJ, I thought about, I'm like, Aleem McNeil, but then I'm like, wait, if DJ Reader's playing, that dude's going to impact everybody. Like, he's going to help Aleem McNeil, help Aiden Hutchinson, help all these guys. So that was tough for me because I think Aleem McNeil, given DJ Reader's back, I don't care if it's limited snaps. When he's in the game, Aleem McNeil will be he'll benefit from it. The other player was Jared Goff, and that one was tough for me because I think Jared Goff is another guy to watch. But these three right here are guys that I think are kind of maybe not Amon-Ra, maybe not as much DJ Reader, but especially Carlton Davis. Little under the radar guys to watch this week. So we'll see how this ages next week. Maybe Carlton Davis absolutely locks up Mike Evans and we can say, hey, he was impactful. Or, God forbid he gets torched and I have to be like, I'm a dumbass. But regardless, appreciate you guys for tuning in and appreciate the love there. Again, this segment was brought to you guys by BetUS. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
I thought you were about to shut the show off for a second. We're done 40 minutes early.